Councillors, are we prepared? Are we online? Are we somewhere? Head into delay. Welcome everybody to the August council meeting of the Nowport-Lucindale Council, where we acknowledge and respect our complex history and welcome everyone to build our future together. Firstly, I'd like for you to acknowledge the apologies of Councillor Crosling, Councillor Turner and Councillor Maguire. And secondly, declarations of any members' declarations of interest.
It's a confidential item in relation to the sale.
Thank you, Councillor Dennis. Noted. This is an opportunity, and I was hoping, and I just spoke with Neil. I was hoping to get an update about how our monies were being spent or well invested out here at Francis. And he was hoping that another member of the community may have been here to help us with an update. But I was speaking with Mel at a cold night in the Narracourt Sports Hall, and she said that all their monies were well invested, and in fact Neil was telling me they're hoping to begin ripping up this facility out here in late September. So that's all good news.
Early September?
Early September? Okay, fantastic.
You're referring to the fencing,
Yes.
the resurfacing of the netball courts and the fencing
Correct.
money that came through grant and council funding?
Correct. So that's all wonderful. So we don't have any petitions or deputations. And item 5, confirmation of council minutes. I'd ask if someone would like to move that those minutes are an accurate record of proceedings at the meeting. Councillor Ireland, thank you, and Councillor Grundy. All those in favour? Carried. Thank you very much. There are no matters that have been laid on the table. Item 7 is my report. I had in the last couple of weeks, I've had an opportunity to get out of the district, and it was to have a travel around the state and see how everyone else is faring, which is quite a good thing to do. I think it's a bit of a mixed result. I think the Riverland's still tough, and certainly east of Clare is still very tough, and the Flinders Ranges are dire, to say the very least, although it was very cold and raining when I was there, but it will need more than wet weather to improve it up there. So I suppose for our state representatives, we're a long way to go, and we're looking forward to more rain, certainly. Would someone like to second or have any questions of me?
No question.
Councillor Down, would you happy to second? Thank you very much. All those in favour? Carried. Thank you. Elected members' reports. We have none written. An opportunity, Councillor Grundy, to speak on the NRLE, or would you prefer to leave that until that item comes up?
I'm happy to speak on that now, Mayor Ross.
Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
So we had our meeting on the 6th of August, and some of the key points that came out of that meeting were that Councillor Ireland had asked for a breakdown of income sources for the sale yards. The gross is around 2.5 million, I beg your pardon. Of that, cattle were about 59%, sheep about 24%, and the truck wash was about 13%, and the balance was ancillary income. At the end of the financial year, figures in numbers of head cattle were about 102,000 or 17,000 above the 5-year average. of 85,000. Sheep were 440,000 or 46,000 below the 5-year average of 487,000. On other matters, the sheep EID infrastructure installation is on track, with the roof shelters slightly behind schedule. Loyal employee Chook McPhail, he's retired, and back on the infrastructure front, Wi-Fi boosters have been installed to assist with the digitisation that's taking place out there.
Thank you, Councillor Grundy. I must admit I did find it extraordinary yesterday when you consider the power was going out overnight. I would imagine that our utilities organisation would have way more sense than to close down the livestock exchange and the rest of town, but especially the livestock exchange over its busiest 24 hours in any 1 week. But we managed to get through. So well done to all involved. Item 9, Kelly.
Thank you, Mayor. A very simple, straightforward report this week. This month, the Coppamurra Mining Community Consultative Committee is looking for membership at the moment. So the Mayor has indicated a desire to be part of that group. So there is a recommendation around that nomination. And there's just some information about the Limestone Coast LGA and transition of the Sporting Academy. So happy to take any questions.
First recommend Councillor Dennis.
The recommendation, the CEO
Councillor
report.
Dennis and Councillor Goodman. Not to be confused tonight, Councillor Goodman. All those in favour? Carried. Thank you. Next recommendation is that the Mayor be Naracoorte Lucindale Council's nomination for the Coppamurra Community Consultative Committee. If there could be a council representative from other councils, or would there would only be one council representative?
No, it's open, so other councils
Okay,
can.
cool.
Yep.
Very good. A mover, Councillor Downwood, Councillor Rayner. All those in favour? Carried, thank you. And the next recommendation is... The Council receive and note July special meeting minutes of the Limestone Coast Local Government Association. Someone like to move to that effect? Councillor Grundy and Councillor Dennis. All those in favour? Item 10, keep projects. Daniel, Mr Willsmore.
Thank you. Not much more to add to the report. We, as you can see from the report, we're in our procurement planning stage, so we're ready by the time we get to construction season. So there's a number of reports to review in the confidential sections for tender awards. So happy to take questions on the report.
Any questions for Mr Willsmore? Excellent. Thank you very much. Finance report, item 11. Mrs Edmonds.
Thank you, Mayor Ross. Only thing to add is we had our auditors on site last week who are compiling our end of financial year results, so they should be to hand in the next few weeks, which we'll incorporate into our AMP and long-term financial plan discussions. Nothing further to add to the report, but happy to take any questions.
Are there any questions of Mrs Esmond so early in the financial year? Thank you very much. Item 12. For those people in the public, item 12, these are recommendations that come from council committees, and so the council just generally ticks the box. They don't necessarily tick the box, but they've been done through committees. Some of them are open to the public, some not, and so the council just endorses the recommendations made by those committees. So that's why we have a long list, and it's really just the council going through the process of doing that. So the first item, the minutes of the Strategic Asset Planning Committee of the 15th of July, taken as read and noted. Councillor Dennis moved and Councillor Goodman second. All those in favour? Carried. Thank you very much. The Strategic Asset and Planning Committee meeting is one of the most important meetings that the Council does quarterly, and it's open to the public, and it's where a lot of the decisions that are made by Council come from that committee. So, you know, it's a great opportunity for the community to come and actually see Council working quite hard to come up with a good resolution to put to this more formal meeting, which proceeds it further. The next item is that Council does not seek a speed limit reduction for Arthur Street, Lancoop Road and Pinkerton Road. Councillor Downwood and Councillor Grundy, seconded. All those in favour? Carried. The next recommendation is the Council does not support further verge extension to the southern side of the Lucendale airstrip. Councillor Goodman moved. Councillor Rayner second. All those in favour? And further to the Lucendale airstrip, I was informed today that the Chief Officer will be here next Tuesday and will be out at the airstrip. I think Mr Willsmore to look at the CFS facilities more than the Naracoorte Lucendale facility, but I'm sure he'll be impressed with the bitumen and the grading. The next item is that the Council endorses the revised design of Musgrave Avenue and the inclusion of additional survey of Country Club Road to allow for heavy vehicle parking arrangement and proceeds to DIT consultation and final design documentation. Someone like to move to that effect? Councillor Dennis. Seconder, please. Councillor Grundy. Thank you. All those in favour? Carried. Thank you. Item 12.2, Naracoorte Regional Livestock Exchange Board. Would someone like to move that the minutes of the Naracoorte Regional Livestock Exchange Board meeting held on the 6th of August are taken as read and noted? Councillor Ireland. Seconder, please. Councillor Grundy. All those in favour? Carried. Thank you. Recommendation that the Naracoorte Regional Livestock Exchange financial report to the 29th of July 25 is noted and referred to the Audit and Risk Committee for consideration. Someone like to move? Councillor Grundy. Councillor Downwood. All those in favour? Carried. Thank you. Recommendation that the request from Grant Daniel Long for the reversal of panicking charges is declined. Someone like to move to that effect? Councillor Grundy. Councillor Downwood. All those in favour? Carried. Thank you. 12.3, Audit and Risk Committee. For those people in the public, the Audit and Risk Committee is chaired by Councillor Ross and has been for some time, Councillor Ross. And who are the... Councillor Ross, can you remind me who's on your committee?
We've got two elected members, myself and Councillor Turner, and then we've got three outside parties or people with expertise. So we've got Brett Armfield, who's an accountant, John Finnis, who's an accountant, and Peter Wesley, who's a lawyer. So we've got some pretty good knowledge there, quite broad. So Turner obviously new to it, but he's doing really well. Mr. Brett Armfield has been on council before as well, so there's a bit of knowledge there as well. So it's going well. So.
Excellent. And it is going well, but it's a really important part of our what are we saying? Checks and balances is our Audit and Risk Committee, and I thought it was important that the public were aware who was on that. Thank you, Councillor Ross. Would someone like to move the minutes of the Audit and Risk meeting on the 12th of August be taken as read? Councillor Ross, thank you. And Councillor Grundy. All those in favour? Carried, thank you. A recommendation: reports relating to the performance of the Naracoorte Regional Livestock Exchange as at the 5th of August 2025 are received and noted. Councillor Grundy moved, Councillor Ireland second. All those in favour? Carried. Thank you. Item 13, the resolution register. Mrs Collins.
Thank you, Mayor Ross. Nothing further to add to that report, so I'll just commend the recommendation to you.
Thank you very much. So for the public, we've just included a register within our operations, which means that it's a way of ensuring that actions that are put forward by council are then actioned, and then they can disappear off the register otherwise, which is really important, so we can actually see visually that we're actually, checking off the things as we go. So we thank our new CEO for introducing that. Thanks, Kelly. And Josie, exactly. And we have a recommendation that there we go, 2 pages. Council receives and notes the resolution table at the end of July 25 as a true and correct record and confirms that it is satisfied that decisions marked complete have been enacted to the satisfaction of Council. Councillor Goodman, Councillor Grundy. All those in favour? Carried. Thank you. 13.2. Council land permit to use.
Thank you, Mayor Ross. I'm presenting this one on behalf of Leisha Munro, who's our Manager of People and Risk. She coordinates policy reviews and updates with feedback from management and council staff. So this one in particular is related to the use of council land. As you can see from the marked up policy, the updates focus around removing events that no longer exist that may have been listed in the policy and updates to positions. So nothing of great significance that needs further discussion, but happy to take any questions.
Are there any questions of Mrs Edmonds? Being none, would someone like to move that Council adopt the council land permit to use policy? Councillor Dennis moved, second Councillor Ross. All those in favour? Carried, thank you. 13.3, Limestone Coast Farmers and Makers Market days. Mrs Edmonds again.
Thank you, Ross. Again, as per the report, we're just looking for approval to run the annual pre-Christmas markets run by the Limestone Coast Food Farmers and Makers Market in the town squares. Historically, we have looked for a multi-year permit for ease and no need for annual discussion. Happy to take any questions with it. The report sums up what we're looking for.
Are there any questions? Councillor Dennis.
I don't really have a question. We standing today. I don't have a question other than to commend the market as a great icon of Naracoorte. I think it's a wonderful chance to look at local produce and buy a chook if you need to buy a chook. So yeah, I'd like to commend the motion, and it's a fantastic event and a great group of people.
Councillor Dennis, that's an endorsement. Councillor Goodman.
Second, please.
Did you move that, Councillor Dennis? Yes, you did. Councillor Goodman second. Thank you very much. And that's for a period of 5 years. Very good. All those in favour? Carried. Thank you. 13.4, Northern Limestone Coast Regional Assessment Panel, sitting fee increase.
Thank you, Mayor Ross. I undertook a review of our sitting fees for our regional assessment panel, which haven't been done since 2020. And in part of that review, looking across other regional panels across the state, it became apparent that Our fee structure was probably lagging behind significantly, so therefore I've put a recommendation to Council in order to recruit and retain current panel members that we increase the sitting fees. This report has also been tabled at the Kingston District Council and Tadara District Council, and which both respective councils have recently endorsed this month also.
Thank you, Mr McCroskey. I notice we've leapfrogged a little bit in front, so 550, so our lag has been adjusted. Would someone like to move to that effect, that we approve the proposed increase for the presiding member to increase to 550 and the independent members to increase to 450? Councillor Grundy moved, Councillor Ireland second. How many times a year do they meet, Mr McCroskey, as required?
Correct.
Correct. A couple of times, I think. All those in favour? Carried. 13.3. 13.5. Proposed Capital Works Narracourt Town Clock. Mr McCroskey.
Yes, the town clock has had a long-standing connection with the Narracourt Township. We've been working with local contractors and electricians in regards to maintaining the clock, and it's got to a point that it's no longer viable. We've recently removed the clock face to get it sent to Adelaide to have it further reviewed and investigated. And unfortunately, the clock is no longer, therefore, whilst we're undertaking the investigation works, we noted there were some cosmetic works that were required on part of the clock if Council wished to endorse the spend of $17,550. There's also some internal lighting that needs to be improved, upgraded as well, so the wiring has now become redundant. So it's a recommendation for Council if they were willing to move in that direction for the support of the improvements to the town clock.
Mr McCroskey, is it likely that the clock will remain in that position? Is there any thought that it may be moved? You know, while the upgrade's happening?
Mayor Ross, there hasn't been any discussions about the relocation of the clock. I believe it may have been relocated as part of the upgrades when the roundabouts were installed in the town centre many moons ago.
Thank you, Mr McCroskey. Unbudgeted $17,500 to get the crock. Councillor Goodman.
I'd like to move that we do allocate the $17,500 towards the refurbishment of the clock. I, for one, have missed it when I drive down the main street, and my daughter also noted that it wasn't there. I think it is an important part of our town's history, and I'd like to see it restored and reinstated.
Thank you, Councillor Goodman, and Councillor Rayner second that. All those in favour? Carried.
I would point out it's right twice a day.
The different sides are told different times, aren't they?
Maybe 4 times a day.
13.6. Hybrid swimming facility, Narracourt Swimming Lake. Mr McCroskey.
Thank you, Mayor Ross. As per my report, the resolutions 1, 2 and 3 have already been addressed. This is a carryover project from last financial year in regards to the investigation of a hybrid indoor swimming facility. The background here obviously was the opportunity to utilise the current infrastructure at the swimming lake in regards to the pump and filtration system. Upon the commencement of the project, it became apparent very early in the stages that the current pump and filtration system wasn't compatible in regards to providing a smaller, fit-for-purpose all-year-round swimming facility, which the flow and effect basically stated there was no real significant benefit in having a facility at the swimming lake apart from all being in the one location. As you can see, as part of the report, I kept the project scope like for like to ensure that we were comparing apples with apples, and the figures unfortunately were rather large, with option A at $9.5 million and option B with a facility within the current swimming lake at 10.5. There was also a strong disclaimer there in regards to not having a full understanding of the structural components behind the swimming lake and retaining the walls and how that would be designed and implemented, that $10.5 million could also increase also. So therefore, as per our recommendation, as that basically we note the investigation work and shelve the project.
Thank you, Mr McCroskey.
I'd like to move the motion as written.
Councillor Dennis moved the motion as written. Councillor Goodman, you
Second and speak.
seconded and speak. Thank you.
I'd like to thank the administration for the work that's been done on looking into this to give us a really thorough and well thought through response. I think this was something that I might have raised at even my first council meeting when we were discussing the Swimming Lake Master Plan, and with all the community interest around having a year-round pool in Naracoorte, I think it's been a really worthwhile piece of work to have all the answers, and I'd like to second the motion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Resolves not to progress the project at this stage. All those in favour? Carried. Thank you. Reports for information. Operations report. Anything to add, Mr Willsmore? No, it's a lot of coloured pictures. 14.2. Mr McCroskey, this is your night.
I'm cramping up over here. Nothing further to add apart from just to note that the Limestone Coast Regional Development Plan submissions are now closed, and the department are still currently reviewing what they have heard in regards to the consultation process.
Mr McCroskey, if I may ask, when it comes to solar farms, battery farms, there's a perception within the community that council plays a role. Can you explain generally how that works, or as far as council's concerned, and what the role of planning is within that?
Yeah, so applications are still formally lodged through council, and we assess it against the code, no matter what the development is. There is a certain, I think it's under 5 megawatts, it goes to a different set of legislation in regards to it's assessed under the Electoral Commissions of Act or something to that effect, because of the size and scale of those developments. So unfortunately, while they're recognised in the PDO Act and the code, most of the applications, when they're submitted, go out to public consultation, and that provides the community provide feedback in regards to the location and where they're being proposed.
Yep. So in fact, council, so the community comes to council looking for answers, but in fact we've got no, these are all done through planning and are out of our scope, so to speak. Thank you, Mr McCroskey. 14.3, engagement and community report. Mrs Collins.
Thank you, Mayor Ross. Nothing further to add. As you can see from the report, there's been a lot going on in our space, and there's a lot happening in the near future. So it's never dull. And yeah, we appreciate the community support as always. All of our spaces remain extremely busy, which is absolutely fantastic.
Thank you, Mrs Collins. Item 15. Publications, documents, information from other bodies. There being none, I don't have any questions with notice. Motions with notice, item 17, Councillor Grundy.
I'd like to move it and speak to it, please. That the Naracoorte-Lucindale Council write to the member of former Killer, Nick McBride, seeking correction to his assertion in the news, Naracoorte News, 25th of June 2025, that the Naracoorte-Lucindale Council would stand to lose 2 towers due to the Naracoorte-Lucindale Council's decision to decline Telstra's request for funds to subsidise its 27-tower project, and that this answer be tabled at the next available regular monthly Naracoorte-Lucindale meeting. So while there's been a newspaper article and that sort of thing, which is a kind of an acknowledgement or a kind of a correction, it's not the public record. And when I conduct myself as a councillor or a land agent or a primary producer, when I say something or make a statement, I have to own it. And quite frankly, if public figures are making statements which are not correct or not quite correct, then I think that they need to correct those if they are indeed false.
Thank you, Councillor Grundy. I have looked at this, and I read that, of course, in the first instance in the news back in June. I note the article in the news more recently from Mr McBride saying that he was misinformed, and although Councillor Grundy suggests that's not an apology, I differ, and of course I'm allowed to, as anyone can. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Rayner. Any further discussion? Councillor Ross.
I don't. This motion, I don't agree with it. So it's a contentious. I believe the decision that we did originally was probably a poor decision. It was a decision that wasn't unanimous in the chamber. It was 6-4. So I can't see what good you're going to get out of it. He was outlining probably a few different things in what he was probably meaning there in what he stated previously. I don't believe, we were at risk of potentially losing some TARs by not putting our hand up and contributing to these TARs. It was only because there was a fair bit of work done behind the scenes that the Forestry SA, I think, came into the party to fill our void that we had created. So we were potentially made a decision that was going to impact potentially some TARs that were going to be potentially put up. Now, I believe if you went out to the community and actually did ask the community, would you be interested in seeing council put up these TARs, I think you would have found that it would have been very well supported. Did that decision affect me? No, it didn't, because I'm lucky that I'm actually in town and I get full service. But when you've got people that are living out in the regional areas that aren't getting full service, if you ask them that question, did you want us to contribute as a council to go towards it and to try to improve potentially the coverage, they'll be saying, do it all day long. We know there was recommendations from the CFS of how important it was during fires and not getting it. So I believe the decision we did at the time was not a good decision. What I also am a bit disappointed about as well is that Mr McBride is our Member of Parliament that we use. We are looking to get support from when it comes to advocating on our behalf. What benefit are we when he just basically said, yep, I understand I may have said something that's already been publicly put in the paper. Why does he need to then come back and do an apology? I don't believe that we're biting a hand that actually is there to help us, and I don't think it's probably good practice. And I just think one of the things I've been concerned about is how are we viewed broadly from outside the Naracoorte Lucindale Council, and that's someone there who's just made a comment of basically of how we are seen. It just reconfirms my thoughts, and that is that we aren't good to partner with. And now, is that going to help future when we want future black spot coverage? Is it going to help our cause? I don't think it's going to help our cause to be poking people like that. I just don't believe it's good business.
Thank you. And if I might, since 3G has dropped off, and I live in a very remote area, Damien, and where I used to get coverage with all the boosters I've got in all of the cars, it's now marginal. Bring on satellite technology. That's what I say. But
the thing is, more people use it, the harder it's going to get. So if we're going to miss out on TARs.
Yeah. Councillor Dowling.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. With our decision to not fund the TARs, when I was inquiring about that project...
Councillor Dowling, if I can just...
Yeah, sorry.
Can we just start on, please?
So, I would like to see the member from the Killer make an acknowledgement of his being missing. I know he's put it in the paper, but where council, we made a decision to, for the reasons we did, that that's not a prerogative of council to be making that decision. That's state and federal government to be doing that. And with his comments, it made us appear that we're not looking after the community as we should do, when it's not our position to be in that. So I think I would like to see a recognition of that from him to that point. And the letter that we got from Telstra, I'd like that to be published as well, so that the community can see that there was only ever going to be 2 towers in the first place.
Thank you, Councillor Dennis.
Briefly speak against the motion as well. I'd like to look at the motion and understand what we're trying to achieve by its core statement. I think that has already been achieved. And I think there's probably no good to come out of this motion, so I'll be voting against it.
Thank you, Councillor Dennis. Is there any further discussion? Councillor Grundy.
I'd like to thank Councillor Ross for his 5 minutes of speculation about what was going on behind the scenes and that sort of thing. At the end of the day, you know, the newspaper article and that sort of thing, you know, was pretty close to the dog ate my homework and referring to third parties about information and that sort of. The bottom line is when you make a statement, you have to own it, and Councillor Downwood is quite correct in saying that this implied that the decision was wrong and that it somehow delivered a negative result to the community when it in fact did not. Our friends and our cousins in St Peter's Norwood as ratepayers are not expected to fund Telstra Towers. You know, the private organisation, you know, they're funded by their private organisation and subsidised with government agencies and that sort of thing. So I don't think that we as regional councils should be asked to subsidise telecommunications infrastructure. That was our decision, and I maintain that it was a correct decision.
Thank you, Councillor Grundy. I'll ask for all those in favour of the motion, please raise your hand. I have 5. Those against, I have 2. The motion is carried. Thank you very much. Questions without notice. Motions without notice, item 19. Item 20 is matters that the CEO recommends to be considered in confidence, and 20.1 is a matter that the CEO recommends to be in confidence around the Selling Penning upgrades.
Can we deal with Councillor Dennis's conflict first? Can you tell us the nature of your conflict?
Yes, thank you. I am a livestock agent and a user / stakeholder at the sale yards and are directly impacted by the motion. And I've written my little piece there too. So I'll leave them in, but the public's still here too.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Dennis. Would someone like to move that we move into confidence?
Happy to move. Can we also confirm we've stopped the live stream and...
Once we move into
Yes,
right, sure.
Once this happens.
Yep.
Thank you. So, Councillor Goodman moved that we move into confidence. Councillor Ireland second. All those in favour? Carried. Thank you very much. So, at this juncture, the honourable public, if you can duck out.